All right, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Show Choir Nation. I'm your host, William. Alongside me, other way, is my guest host for tonight, Quinn. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. I'm doing really good. Sorry, the stream just started playing on my end, but I'm really great right now. I always like talking about show choir. It's really fun to appear on this show. So thank you for having me.
Yeah, Ethan will hopefully be back next week. Had something pop up here. So for those of you who are here for Ethan, and I'm sure that's most of you because nobody's really here for me, you'll get your fill of Ethan next week. However, we have Quinn for this week. Quinn, I'm glad that you are doing great. I am doing better. I think that I maybe would have had a different answer if we had done this show yesterday because between Friday and Saturday evenings, I slept for 9 hours and 15 minutes. And on Sunday evening, I slept for 9 hours and 30 minutes. And then on Monday, I took another hour and a half of naps. So that pushed my sleep total to like 11 hours for that time frame. And
did you have a hotel in the Auburn? I don't know where is it just Auburn?
Yeah. So funny story. There were like a gazillion things happening in Auburn last weekend. And so my hotel was 40 minutes outside of Auburn.
Oh,
but okay. that also doesn't excuse that I was staying up talking to friends at the hotel. I did not go to sleep as early as I could have. And by early, I just mean like I was up until 3 a.m. on Saturday night. And I'm not ashamed to admit that because when you have time with friends, you got to take advantage of it, right?
Hey, you got to do what you got to do. I was asleep at like 10:30, woke up and saw woke up to results at like 3 a.m. So hey, guess what we're about to talk about?
We are about to talk about all the results. We will head into our rapid fire chaos round. I appreciate Quinn being a trooper. We are just going to roll through a lot of these. I've tried to give Quinn ones that hopefully he knows a little something about. However, this is still my brainchild. So for those of you who are not familiar with this, we have 20 competitions where something interesting, weird, chaotic, something or other happened this past weekend. We have a quick comment here. We totally went to bed when we got to the hotel. That can be your story from room 215, Mr. Durkin. And I will not say anything else about my side of the story. But we have 20 competitions where something interesting happened, something weird happened, something chaotic happened, something whatever happened. In addition to our regular 4 comps of the week. So in total, we've got 24 competitions. However, the goal is 30 seconds each for each of these 20 competitions. That means we will see you all. Well, we'll see you all the whole time, but we will come back to Earth in 10 minutes time as we kick off our rapid fire chaos round right now with a first time winner in Show Choir Land. Warrensburg Soundwave, under the direction of Chad Ray, won the Carthage Soundfest this past weekend, scoring over McDonald County, Mount Vernon, Bixby, and others. Warrensburg had not placed in their 3 competitions so far this year. So to go from Miss Finals to your first ever GC, got to be an incredible feeling. Warrensburg making the trip down kind of from the Kansas City area down to Southwest Missouri to do so at the Carthage Soundfest. So congratulations to Warrensburg.
Also moving to Southeast Polks competition, Johnston is now the only group this season to have beaten Waukee Northwest EOS. And, you know, EOS did put up a good battle this season, beating groups like Urbandale Studio and Ankeny Visual Adrenaline. But Johnston has also not lost this competition since 2022. So they felt like the easy group to pick to win. Also, shout out to Elkhorn North. We'll talk about them when we get to Sioux City East later, but shout out to them for placing 3rd here. And also shout out to Johnston Synergy for getting 4th place at every single competition they went to this season.
Pretty remarkable run. We will head out to the West Coast to the Esperanza Spectacular. This one in February, a rare sight to see many California groups going. However, Burbank in sync with musicianship takes the Tier 1 win over Los Alamitos Sound Effects with showmanship. Also a drop-down drag-out battle in Advanced Mix Tier 2. That one concluding with Diamond Bar Marquee with a pretty convincing win over Cypress High Voltage. The gap on the score sheet's not close. Diamond Bar really starting the season off at the top of Advanced Mix 2 in California. We will go to Virginia to the Hanover and Mechanicsville Festival of Choirs. Cosby's Spotlight sweeping this one, kind of the norm for them. However, Midlothian Just for Show has come out of the gate strong this season. They were second place at Clover Hill, and now they are second place at Hanover. They beat Manchester Capital Swing, who many last year regarded to be the second best choir in Virginia, and also Key Cotton Harbor Lights for the large mixed runner-up spot.
Moving over to Marion Masquerade Valley, West Des Moines Valley Correlation swept this competition, sweeping Gretna East, DePere, Cedar Rapids, Washington, and Des Moines Christian. This is not the first time Valley has done this. Last season, they swept Onalaska Hilltoppers at this exact competition. Well, another thing that really interests me is that Des Moines Christian placed fifth after having a very, very very good performance last weekend at Indianola. So seeing them get upset by DePere, Cedar Rapids, Washington, and Gretna East was a bit of a shock, but it happens.
Well, I'd like to dispute that Des Moines Christian did not get upset by Gretna East. I think that
not by Gretna East, but DePere and Cedar Rapids, Washington for sure.
I don't know. Maybe just a DePere homer, but I would like to think that jam session placed where I kind of thought they would heading into this. We'll move to Mississippi. Quinn and I will have some discussions off camera later where we can settle our differences in a physical manner. West Jones Imagination wins 3 of their 4 competitions in 2026. They took a split caption decision over Brandon Brio at the Oak Grove Invitational this past weekend, taking best visuals, which is not something you see out of West Jones very often. I talked to one of their choreographers, Connor Pilgrim, immediately after it happened, and he was elated, to say the least. So West Jones, a bit of a sleeper pick, but I don't know if they're a Giant Slayer or if they're a Giant now. They seem to be stacking too many Giant Slayer wins to continue being an underdog. In Ohio at the Ross Legacy Championship, Marysville Swingers Unlimited essentially won the de facto state championship, taking best choreography and the win over Soul and Music in Motion, who had best vocals. Other contenders at this competition included the Fairfield Cavaliers in 3rd and Loveland by Request in 4th. Obviously, you're missing Finley in there a little bit. But however, Marysville, they have not lost to an Ohio group for a long, long time, and that will not change this season by all the looks of it.
Turning to the competition I was at this season, this weekend, Sioux Falls O'Gorman standing O. Bloomington Kennedy is on top of the world right now. This is probably the best season they've had since ever. Probably. Elkhorn South in second place might seem like whoa, what about Mitchell? What happened to Mitchell? Trust. You gotta trust. Elkhorn South popped off, and Mitchell also popped off. But Elkhorn South just had a little bit more. And shout out to also Waconia Power Company. This was the lowest placement for them of the season, but they still had a really incredible showing.
All right. Going back to Ohio, where we were just a little bit before. Got to do this since Ethan's not on the pod tonight. Euclid!
Go Euclid!
Taking over the win at Alliance. Beating Scranton, who is a very, very good small mix choir. Euclid, now they number 5 wins. At the beginning of last season, they had no overall GCs. Maybe they had some division wins. This is a group that did not compete in 2022. I want everyone to know that. Like, this is a program that was like on the brink of just not existing in the competitive space. And now they're here. There were 5 wins, and I think they're one of everyone's favorite small mix choirs, at least among our staff.
Turn to Bellevue East Battle of the East. We all kind of we in homeroom kind of assumed that someone was going to get their first grand champion trophy here, but we did not think it was going to be Blair Ovation who took best choreography. Dallas Center Grimes Momentum took best vocals and second place, and Wahoo Royalty took best band and third place. Both Blair and Wahoo, they're not done yet. They're both going to be at Lincoln Northeast, The Rock, this weekend.
Taking over the West Virginia scene by storm at the Cobble Midland Rhythm and Red Invitational, Herbert Hoover High Impact scored what, at least in recorded history, is their first ever GC. West Virginia history, a little bit spotty, a state with many decades of show choir excellence. However, High Impact, generally not considered among the foremost small mixed groups in West Virginia. However, they did take a big win over Clover Hill and Polka, part of getting show choir to 500 recorded grand champions.
Turning to Davenport West Side Showdown. Davenport North takes their 3rd grand champion of the season with best vocals and best choreography. Second place going to Waubonsie Valley Soundcheck. Waubonsie's not done yet. They're still going to be, we'll see them at John Hershey this weekend, and then Wheaton Warrenville South this next weekend. But also shout out to Davenport North the North Boys, which is a really fun name, for making finals. I believe, is this the first finals placement for the group?
Yeah, this is their first season.
This is okay. So then, yeah. So shout out to them for making finals for the first time in program history. Hopefully they'll do great things in the future.
Going to Iowa at the Central Lee Central Connections Invitational in a 2-venue competition. West Branch Christopher Jive in the Uptown 45 came out on top of the 1A, 2A finals. However, in the 3A, 4A finals, it was Quincy Electric Blue coming over from Illinois to take the overall win, their first win in program history. This is a competition, this is a group that only goes to 2 competitions per season. Ben Dombrowski, not even on the music faculty there, teaching in another department, former Mount Zion Swing Stations member, has really stepped in and elevated that group, culminating in their first ever GC. So a big get for Quincy. Another group that had a big get this past weekend, the Enterprise Encores. They won at Donaldson Christian Academy Music City Show Choir Invitational, longest name in show choir, perhaps, for competition, over Bradley Central Vocal Motion. Enterprise, this is their first win since 2021, but if you want to look at kind of regular season stuff, it's their first win since 2015. So this is a big get for Enterprise, especially on the same weekend as the 19th anniversary of a devastating 2007 tornado that hit their school. I'm sure that this was a really, really emotional win for Enterprise in more ways than one.
Gretna sweep at Grand Island Islander Invitational, but another thing that was on that caught our attention was Hastings Uncaged getting second place above Grand Island Northwest, 14 karat gold. Both of these groups have been undefeated up until this point of the season, but it shows that Hastings Uncaged is not to be underestimated and will probably continue to do well over the next few years. So watch out for them in the Nebraska scene.
It's not terribly uncommon to see 2 programs in Ohio go 1-2 in both the mixed finals and the women's finals. However, it is uncommon to see those groups be from West Virginia and Massachusetts. But that's exactly what Hurricane and Shepherd Hill did at Grove City. Shepherd Hill, a small mixed choir in the New England scene, coming over to Ohio and placing second overall in competition, coming on the back of Daniel Hand going to Ohio and doing really well. Hurricane getting their second consecutive win, their second win of the season as well. So a great day for those 2 programs.
Tupelo, let's go. Tupelo synergy. Harvard American Nashville, it's a smaller lineup than Orlando. We'll see Orlando in a few weeks, but this is still a really fun competition that brings together choirs that probably would never have the chance to compete against each other normally, during just a normal competition. But Tupelo synergy did so well in prelims that they were able to make it to the mixed group finals, and they won with best vocals and best band above Hastings Riverside Company and Jenks Trojanaires, 2 very incredible programs.
At the Hollister Show Choir Invitational in Missouri, the Lexington Southern Accents won. That is their 3rd straight win at this competition. However, the real story is that their guys group, the Testosterone, made finals. They placed 4th, and they also took the overall best choreography caption. So been a while since you see a best choreo in 4th or lower. Maybe 3rd is kind of the lower end of where you see those things shake. But especially a guys group renaissance this year, as Dylan Moss is so fond of saying on the Teardown.
Norris Fields of Talent. I've been here before. I've been here actually for 2 years. It's really, really fun competition to go to. Urbandale Studio gets their second win of the season, beating Millard West and Lincoln Southwest. Also, special shout out to we'll talk more about Urbandale Studio later in the show, but also I want to give a shout out to Lincoln East. I did not think they had that dog in them to get the best band from Millard West or Lincoln Southwest. So special shout out to them for that.
Up in New England at the Somerset Berkeley competition, Oliver Ames Panache won the small mixed division. And this one was a long time coming for Oliver Ames. Their last division win of any kind was in 2016 when longtime legendary director Charlene Dalrymple was still there. That was an overall GC. Oliver Ames moving down to small mix after the pandemic. However, didn't find a ton of success. A big breakthrough for Panache, their first division win since 2016. All right, that is our rapid fire chaos round. Thank you, Quinn, for being a good sport. And I hope I didn't throw you too much of a loop by telling you to talk about Tupelo freaking synergy.
Yeah, Nashville was the only one I saw. It said, ooh. Everything else I got. It's okay.
We'll move on to something that hopefully both of us are going to be a bit more acquainted with, and that is our Comps of the Week recaps. We will start off with the competition that I was at this past weekend. It was the Auburn Show Choir Showdown in Auburn, Alabama. I was one of the broadcast hosts for the live stream throughout the entire weekend. I'd like to start off by giving a phenomenal thank you to Mr. Aaron Smith, Mr. Chris Schiller, all the parents at Auburn, our production staff with Josh and Dylan and Reese and everybody else. And also my wonderful live stream co-host for the weekend, Mr. Dobbs Durkin. It was a bit of a surreal experience to do it for 6 hours, 5-6 hours on Friday, and then come back and do it all again for 15 hours on Saturday. And a lot happened. There was a lot. Middle schools, I've never seen a middle school boys group in my life until Friday night. They absolutely tore down the house. Lake Forest Boys to Men. There is a video up of them performing at Auburn. I highly encourage you to go watch it. AI designs on their shirts, which I think we can support human graphic designers. But that being aside, just phenomenal show. Like if you're outside of Los Angeles, I don't think you will ever see a middle school boys group. And then also Auburn Men at Work, Fever Dream exhibition on Friday night. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles order a pizza that has alien meatballs on it.
Ooh.
And they have to defeat the alien meatballs with a freeze ray. And they had actual pizza as props, like edible pizza. I assume okay, I'm not even going to assume anything. I don't know if they do that all the time or if that was like, hey, can we just take a box off the stack in the concessions area because we're hosting and have real pizza that we can toss out into the audience. And they actually did toss like multiple real edible pizza slices into the audience.
Really?
I don't know if the folks ate that. I think they tossed them to some middle schoolers. That was nuts. But then Saturday, a bunch of great single gender shows, a bunch of great middle mix shows. Small mix was in its own separate venue. But large mixed, just kind of talking about the groups that made finals and one who didn't. Pedal Sound Stations, super fun show. They did a pick your playlist show. So all kinds of different genres. They had like a musical theater number. They had a boy band number. They had, what else did they have? Oh gosh. I'm blanking on a couple of the other ones, but the biggest one, at least for me, was they did a throwback number, which was comprised of clips from old pedal shows. And people who know me know that it's very rare to get a compliment out of me for the way you use your screens. But Pedal having clips of old shows on their screens while they are performing those dance breaks is kind of nuts. I had wanted to see the Nutcracker Trap so badly because I was hearing about it from folks and this and that. And I'm like writing about it in Comps of the Week, and I never saw it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I have seen the Nutcracker Trap. That might have even, did we do the Homies that year? I think we did the Homies that year, and I think that might have been a nomination for Best Dance Break. But Pedal, it was just one of those things where it was so close that I think it just kind of came down to stylistic preferences. And, two of the three judges, kind of said, we don't think this is a finals caliber show. And that's, that is what it is. I was not on the judging panel. I essentially was like, well, we have 6 great shows, and I don't even know if any of the single gender shows from the morning are going to, factor into this conversation as well. So it's just one of those things where someone had to come out on the short end of the stick. And this week it was Pedal. And the upshot of that for Pedal is that they ship out to Virginia, which we'll be talking about at the end of the show. And kind of going for it from there and against Hurricane too, which is a big group. So they'll have a great opportunity to get their get back. Briarwood Radica in 5th. Every couple of years, there's this show that breaks me. And Briarwood was that show this year. They did a show based off of the book You Are Special by Max Lucado. This is a book that I read growing up. This is a book that my mom definitely had. It's about stars and dots and the value of individual worth and human dignity. And there's just something so poignant about shows that are tender. Like there were definitely several shows on stage on Saturday where it was like nonstop power the whole time, like power ballad, like bands at 10 the entire time. I think the tender shows are some of the ones that I appreciate the most. And the Briarwood folks are just so kind too. They actually gave Dobbs and I copies of the book. And I've gotten show choir souvenirs before. Like Toma Limited Edition gave me a family reunion invitation to their family reunion show this year, and that was super nice. And you get clipped and you get mascots and whatever, but actually receiving the physical media that a show is based off of, just absolutely incredible. And their director Casey Mixon, I had the privilege to meet her, just absolutely incredible. I'm Briarwood's biggest fan north of Alabama. Very safe to say that. I wish them the best at Jasper this weekend. I really wish they were competing more than 3 times this year, just so that more people can see their shows. Briarwood was phenomenal. In 4th place was Spain Park. I saw Spain Park last year at Mount Zion. Spain Park 2026, night and day, month to month difference than Spain Park 2025. Spain Park 25, you're like, okay, this looks like a group that's growing into being a large group. Spain Park 26, you're like, this is a group that's a large group, and they look like they've been doing this for a long time. So big shout out to Spain Park. 3rd place, Grenada Visions. People were thinking before this comp, like, I don't know if Grenada's going to make finals, man. Like Grenada, like, their lead broke her arm, and they haven't kind of performed up to expectations. Grenada never left. Grenada has never left. Grenada is still here. Grenada is still a must watch. I don't know what else to say. Absolutely electric. Kyler Pittman, electric as always. Ty Stewart, also electric. All 4 of their Marilyn Monroes, electric. Just a very powerful, incredible show by Grenada, kind of what people have come to expect from them. In 2nd place, Oak Mountain. My first time seeing Oak Mountain clean, very, very real thing. And in 1st place, Homewood the Network. Definitely the most well-rounded product on the stage. Obviously, because they took vocals and choreo and show design. But I think there were some choirs that were definitely like stronger visually or stronger vocally. Homewood, was one of those choirs where you're like, yep, like they are an incredible singing group and they are an incredible dancing group. And their show, flashback to the 90s, great as well. Except Auburn Varsity Singers did Black Hole Sun in exhibition. I think I would have liked to see Homewood the Network do that too. More Soundgarden and show choir, please, to any directors and show designers who are watching the show. But yeah, Auburn Varsity Singers, great. Auburn Along, great. Whole experience, great. Southern cooking, great. Southern hospitality, great. The comp ended a couple hours late, but I think everyone was like, we got out of there a lot earlier than we should have. So props to Auburn. I know I've been yapping for like 7 minutes, but just a great experience. And I really enjoyed my time, and hopefully perhaps one day I'll make it down to the South to enjoy some more show choir.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of covered all of it. I did want to quickly mention that you talked about getting a souvenir from the group. When I was at Urbandale, they were giving out key card. Lynn Marr's group was giving out key cards for the Grand Hotel while they were setting up. And so I was able to snag one of those. So now that reminded me I do have this now. It has a QR code to the ARG, by the way. So that was really fun. The only thing I really know much about the South, like Southern show choirs, it seems very, please correct me if I'm wrong, it seems very unstable. Like 1 week group A could like get 1st place and group B could get like 3rd, and then the next week group A could like get 5th, and then group B could get 2nd. Like it seems very unpredictable. Is this true? That's what it looks like.
Yeah, and I would say that it is because all the shows are so close. I think
that's why, yeah.
Legitimately, at the end of finals, I'm like, just kind of put 4 and 5 in a coin flip and see who comes out on top, and then put 1 to 3 on a die and roll the die and see which face the die lands on and win. And obviously, like I just said, that Homewood was the most well-rounded product. Like, yes. Like, did I think that Homewood was going to win? Yes. However, did I think that Grenada locked in that 2nd was a very serious option for them? Yes. Mm-hmm. The number of judges also more than doubled from prelims to finals. But it legitimately is like right. All of these shows are so close. And I know like before the competition, I was joking like, oh, like I'm just going to be the color commentator on the broadcast. He's like, wow, I'm from the Midwest. I've never seen this group before. They're so great. wow, I'm from the Midwest. I've never seen this other group before. They're so great. And then that's actually what it wound up being on Saturday, because like from when Briarwood went to start off small or large mix and like all the way through, and also like count your single gender groups in there, I was just like, this is nuts. Like if this was a Midwest competition, I'd be like, this is super heavy hitting. And so I think it really is like everyone is kind of constantly improving their craft. Even Auburn, like I watched Auburn's show and I'm like, how has that show gotten the results that it has? Like there should have been a lot more success on paper with that show. Like, it just is what it is. But no, I like the joke this season is that like Clinton's number one in the South and then second is whoever's feeling it that day. I mean, it kind of is like whoever is the least people sick, whoever had the best blend of Chick-fil-A sandwiches and Gatorade before their performance, like it's the little things that count. So yes, it really is like that.
Yeah, the only other thing I wanted to mention is we kind of talked about us and Homer, and we kind of talked about Auburn being a good jumping off point for, well, whatever happens here will maybe dictate what happens at Nationals in a few weeks between Homewood and Grenada. We'll see. I mean, I'll be at Nationals, so I'm really excited to see both Homewood and Grenada Visions in person. I'm excited to see some Southern Show Choir because I've heard good things. So I don't know if it's fair to have high expectations, but I'm excited. I'm really excited for this nonetheless.
Both groups will knock your socks off.
Okay.
I would pencil both Homewood and Grenada in for finals berths.
Okay.
I haven't seen a bunch of the Indiana shows. I haven't seen North Central. I haven't seen Fishers. Haven't seen Brownsburg. Won't see them before Nationals. But purely based off of what I saw on stage on Saturday, I wouldn't write either of those groups in Penn because it's show choir Nationals and you never know what's going to happen. But definitely pencil both Homewood and Grenada in for finals berths.
Okay. I'm excited.
We'll move to North Liberty, Iowa for the Liberty Storm, the stage. This one, the last big competition of the Iowa season. The results in 6th place, Ankeny Centennial Eternal Rush. In 5th place, Prairie the Ambassadors. In 4th place, Cedar Rapids Kennedy Happiness Inc. In 3rd place, Waukee Millennium. In 2nd place, Ankeny Centennial Spectrum. And in 1st place, Linmar 10th Street Edition with Best Vocals, Best Choreography, and Best Band.
Oh boy. The only thing I got wrong with our predictions with this was Vortex missing finals. Everything else I was dead on, including captions. So first of all, Vortex missed finals for the first time in program history, getting beat by Ankeny Centennial Eternal Rush. So it's like another Ankeny group took that 6th place spot, but a lot of people were a little shocked that it wasn't Vortex. And Vortex is good. I liked Vortex when I saw them at Jefferson earlier this season. But yeah, Linmar winning, least shocking result in this entire competition. There were two people who were they? There were two people who thought that Ankeny Centennial would do it. Will, you were one of them? Oh.
So
you never bet on a losing streak to end?
Those of you who know me know that I believe in the power of lighthouses. And I had to do it. I had to do it. I just had to. There was no other option for me. Logically, I had to believe in the power of the lighthouse.
It was never going to happen.
But in all reality, like, let's be real. These are two absolutely incredible shows.
Yeah. They're both very good. Yes.
The fact that like one group came out first and one group came out second, it's like, Chief, on that day, that's what it shook out to be. But like you throw both of them in like the America's Top 25 invite. Maybe they're also first and second there, So.
I don't know. Yeah, but I mean, I really like Spectrum. And when I saw them at Jefferson, I've seen Linmar 3 times in person. I saw them at their
You a lucky duck.
I saw them at their competition. I saw them at Gretna East, and I saw them at Urbandale. Urbandale was by far my favorite showing. I was a little upset I didn't get to see Millennium in person, but it is what it is. Kennedy is great. This Izzy Westerkamp has gotten Best Soloist Award at every competition this season for Kennedy. I hope I'm saying that right.
We have potential Homie Award nomination.
I would say absolutely deserved. Beautiful soloist. Prairie Ambassadors getting 5th after beating Waukee Millennium at Johnston. That's the thing about Prairie. They're either gonna overperform or underperform, and there's no in between. So I was like, yeah, they're probably going to end up in the bottom half of this top 6. But yeah, shout out Eternal Rush for making finals ahead of Vortex and then other notable prep groups like Spirit and Focal Point. I also just realized that Prairie has another prep group called Ignite. This is their first competition of the season. That is why. But yeah, Winmar's been undefeated since 2020. Actually, the last group to beat them was Ankeny Centennial, which, you know what? Funny how that works. But yeah, it's good. It's probably, if you were there, it was a really good competition for in-state Iowa groups.
A good competition for groups from several states was the Mount Zion Midwest Invitational this past weekend. The results of this one in the women's finals: first runner-up Carol Select Sound, and the first place group with best vocals and best choreography, the Center Grove Debtones. Mixed finals: in 5th place Glenwood Titan Fever, in 4th place Troy Buchanan Express, in 3rd place Wheaton North Flight, in 2nd place Carol Magic, and in 1st place with best vocals and best choreography, Center Grove Sound System. I don't think we really expected anybody else to
win. Glenwood might have.
Okay.
I'm kidding. No, Center Grove is on top of the world right now. I said that earlier with Bloomington Kennedy, but Center Grove has they're also on top of the world right now. They're doing really well. Again, I'll see them at nationals. I'll see Carol at nationals. That's gonna be really fun. I know nothing about Carol Magic, but if they're doing this well, maybe it'll be pretty exciting. Wheaton North getting beat by Carol after the opposite happened at Chesterton earlier in the season, where Wheaton North knocked Carol out of, not necessarily Wheaton North, but Wheaton North got 4th place at Chesterton, and Carol was unable to make finals. But it was also Chesterton. That's a tough. Oh, you missed finals at Chesterton. Oh no, it's like, yeah. I believe that. But shout out to Glenwood for also making finals here. I really like what Glenwood, the improvements I've seen with Glenwood Titan Fever over the season. So I'm really glad that they were able to make finals here. And I'm also going to see them at nationals. So look at me go. Look at us go.
Absolutely. A couple takeaways that I had from this one. Glenwood is definitely a group that's on the come up. Got to give Titan Fever their flowers. Perhaps I will catch them in exhibition this weekend. I don't exactly know my schedule yet as for when I'll be attending Glenwood's the event. However, they definitely dance well this year. Wheaton North picking up. Obviously, they lost to Carol, but they did beat Troy Buchanan, who is no slouch of their own, who has been right in the mix at Neosho and El Paso. And also Troy Buchanan, their next competition is on March 21st, and it's in Massachusetts. So the Troy Buchanan Midwest Tour is over for this year. 3 competitions, Neosho, El Paso, Mount Zion, and they're done. And then they're going to New England for a competition. So we'll have to see how that field shakes out. I don't know who all is going to be there. Also, Naperville North, which is at this point, they're a mainstay Illinois program, founded probably over a dozen years ago at this point. Second tough finals miss of the season. And, when Illinois, every competition you go to is just kind of a bloodbath. Indiana, you've got 4 competitions, one in the northwest corner of the metro, one in the northeast corner of the metro, one in the southwest corner of the metro, one in the southeast corner of the metro. Illinois, you got 1, maybe 2 comps on a weekend, and you're going to be going up against good people. So Naperville North, even though they're overdue on finals placements this year, I don't think anyone should really be pressing the panic button on that program at all. We will move to the Franklin Central Hoosier Show Choir Classic. This one is in Indiana. This one in the southeast corner of the Indianapolis Metro. So one of your hypothetical 4 competitions in Indianapolis. What else was happening this past weekend? Mooresville was on the southwest side.
Yeah, I don't know Indiana. I don't know Indiana at all.
Who else was hosting? Oh gosh.
I don't know.
Huntington North, maybe? I think Huntington North.
So because Noblesville won there. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll call that the northeast corner of the metro, even though that's out by Fort Wayne. And then also Lafayette Jefferson, so also not in the Indianapolis Metro, but on the northwest side. So I guess technically we did have a bit of a northeast, southeast, northwest, southwest deal going on in Indiana. But the results of this one in the women's finals: third place, Plainfield Femme Fatale; second place, Carmel Accents; first place, Vocals and Choreo, Fisher Sound. In the mixed finals, third runner-up, Plainfield Ballet Bow; second runner-up, Brownsburg Spotlight Singers and Co.; first runner-up, Fisher's Electrum; and winning the grand championship, Carmel Ambassadors with best vocals and best choreography. Carmel now has 3 wins on the season. However, this is their first one in the Indianapolis Metro. They went to Northwest Indiana to compete at Chesterton, and then back to Northern Indiana to compete at Northridge before coming back to Franklin Central. So what do we make of Carmel's first Metro appearance of the season?
I'm excited to see Carmel in a few weeks. I'll be at Brownsburg's competition, so that I'm really excited to see Carmel in person. It looks like a group that I really like. Like, this kind of show design and choreography is something that's right up my alley. So seeing them winning at Franklin Central, no Center Grove here this year, so no major battle between Center Grove or Carmel this season, but kind of allowed Carmel to swoop in and take the win. I also want to point out Fishers and Brownsburg, like the Auburn competition I talked about a little earlier with Homewood and Grenada. Fishers and Brownsburg are also both going to nationals, so this seems like a pretty early battle. Well, early, we're over halfway through the season, but early battle for both of these two right before nationals to see, are things going to shake up? Are things going to stay the same? Who knows? But shout out to Fishers and Brownsburg for that.
Yeah, Fishers, honestly, they cleaned up in the single gender divisions, Sound with a pretty convincing win over the Carmel Accents. And when I say convincing, all I see is the best vocals and best choreography. The gap could have been really close, I don't know, but really a statement win for them. And also Fishers Rogue, which is their new men's group for this year. They cleaned out what Indiana calls the prep division, which is different than the festival mixed division, which featured prep groups from Carmel and Ben Davis. The actual prep division featured prep groups from Fisher's guys, Brownsburg's second girls group, Plainfield's mixed prep group, and Whiteland's second girls group. So a bit of an interesting division there, but Fisher's Rogue, vocals, choreo, and show design. They also competed at Homestead, where they made a small single gender finals. So more guys groups in Indiana. I know like Brownsburg's guys get out like once a year. North Central's guys get out like once per year. Don't know of too many other schools that have a guys group in Indiana, and I don't think any of them compete consistently. So Fisher's Rogue, probably the most competitive guys group Indiana has seen in a while, simply on virtue by going to 2 competitions in a season. That will wrap up our recap portion of the show, and we will go. That's a producer put the wrong banner up. We will go to the We're So Back segment. We haven't had this one in a few weeks, so welcome back to the We're So Back segment. This is where Quinn and I each pick a group or 2 that we saw from this past weekend's results that we're like, you know what? You are back as a show choir. So Quinn, I will let you go first.
There were 2 results this weekend that I was really paying attention to because I was saying all week, these 2 groups need to lock in this week, and they both did, and I'm very happy about that. And that is, first one up is Urbandale Studio. Let's go. Studio is genuinely one of my favorite shows I've seen in person so far this season. So seeing them, I didn't know if they had it in them to get a second win at Norris, but they were able to do it. And so I'm really proud of them for that. And the other one was Bloomington Jefferson Connection, who I saw they were going to Vermilion, and I said, they have a chance. They could win. And they did. They took best choreography. Millard South took best vocals, and Sioux Falls Jefferson Legacy took third place. By the way, I'd like to give a special shout out to myself for going 5 for 5 for Vermilion's predictions on my preview article about it. You can check that out on the website.
The man just literally did the Obama meme. He's like, I'd like to give a shout out to myself, and puts a gold medal over his own neck. Can you believe what's going on this podcast today?
What can I say? No, because I was writing my recap today, and then I looked back on the what I wrote for my predictions. I realized, oh wait, I nailed it. I nailed it, including who took choreo and vocals. I nailed this competition. I just know ball. I got ball knowledge, is what I'm saying. But those are the two results I was really excited to see. And I'm really happy that both of them ended their seasons with a win. So keep an eye out for both Urbandale Studio and Jefferson Connection in the future.
My two groups both come from the same competition, and that is the Keller Central Lone Star Invitational. This one, no out-of-state choirs this year at Lone Star for the first time in like many, many years, because Broken Arrow ran that competition for a long time. Two Legacy Texas groups, pun intended, Legacy Silver Elite and the Arlington Cavaliers were 5th and 6th. It was the first finals appearance of the year for both groups. Both of these groups really experienced a lot of highs in the mid to late 2010s as more and more Texas show choirs have risen to prominence. I don't want to say they've become anonymous, but they have become just one of the contenders in the pack. And so to see both Arlington and Legacy make finals for the first time this season, really, really nice. Because Mason Barlow and Josh Powell, longtime directors of those programs, still there, still chugging along. Some of the really first people that believed in Texas show choir. So really good to see both of those groups make finals. We'll take a quick question from the chat here. Lydia says, any thoughts on Western Dubuque placements? The results of Western Dubuque in first place with all the captions, Davenport Central. In second place, Onalaska. In third place, Mundelein. In fourth place, La Crosse. In fifth place, Monona Grove. And in sixth place, Wahlert. Quinn, any thoughts off rip, or do you want to defer to me?
I believe. I don't know. I look at the results and I say, yep. I believe that happened. I saw Davenport Central in person at North Polk. Really good. They switched to Heath Gamer.
Heath Guimar. Heath Guimar remains.
I am never going to say it correctly. Any time I'm on the show, I will never say it correctly.
We're going to have to kick you off the show then.
Yeah,
Heath Guimar has not lost a choreography caption since picking up Davenport Central. And mind you, that's been 4 competitions, but
still, his choreography looks really good on Davenport Central. It looks really good. On Alaska, I haven't seen their show yet, so I couldn't tell you if that's like a fair placement or not. But yeah, seeing Davenport Central in the win does not shock me at all.
Yes, Davenport Central, very legit show. On Alaska, super nice to see. I know Western Dubuque has been a bit of a stumbling block for them in the past. Solid second place for Hilltoppers. Mundelein in third. I know Mundelein's had 2 win seasons after the pandemic, but if you look at overall quality of placements, I think this is one of the best seasons that Mundelein has had in a long, long time. So shout out Corey Thompson, Ben Schronk, all the performers. Their one soloist that sings the entire back half of the set. I think he did pick up a soloist award somewhere this season. La Crosse in fourth. Sometimes those days just happen. Monona in fifth. Super solid result for them. And then also Wahlert in sixth. Wahlert, I'm not going to lie, I thought that your program is on the verge of becoming just another 3A program. You beat a lot of good 4A groups to make this finals field, so shout out Wahlert. That is going to be our thoughts on the Western Dubuque results. We will go to the Traveler Award, and we need to do 3 of them this week because there are too many of them. And the biggest Traveler Award is in one of our comps of the week. So these are really kind of like the second, third, fourth place Traveler Awards, but not in comps of the week. Our third place non-comp of the week Traveler Award this week is Clinton Attaché going to Glenwood, the event, a distance of 585 miles and a time of 8 hours and 45 minutes one way. There they will match up with Mount Zion and Marquette in the large mixed division, and presumably some small mixed choirs will make finals as well. What can we expect from Clinton?
Clinton will win.
That was a setup question. Thank you for playing along. Our second place Traveler Award of the week. Clover Hill is going to the Avon Vocal Invitational. That is a drive from Virginia to Indiana, a distance of 650 miles and a time of 10 hours and 30 minutes one way. Clover Hill competing in a stacked small mix division. They were second place overall last weekend at Cobble Midland. So best of luck to Clover Hill. And our first place non-comp of the week Traveler Award goes to Sauk Prairie Executive Session, going to the Biloxi Gulf Coast Classic. That is a drive from Wisconsin, which for those of you who know your geography know that there are Great Lakes coasts in Wisconsin, but they are nowhere close to the Gulf Coast, which is in Mississippi, or that's where Biloxi is. That is a drive of 1,035 miles one way and 15 hours and 30 minutes one way, which means that combined, They will put 2,000 plus miles on the bus and spend 31 hours on the bus.
Wow.
I just can't.
Yeah, that's. I don't know how Sauk Prairie is going to do, because I mean they're going up against Grenada, going up against Northwest Rankin, going up against Tupelo. Tupelo could do really well here again. Who knows? And then Jackson Academy is also doing really. Oh, yeah. Jackson Academy will also do pretty well here. But yeah, so it's going to be a good competition. And it also gives people in the South a chance to look at some Wisconsin show choir. So that'll be fun alone.
Absolutely. I'm definitely biased toward my Wisconsin group, but I think that Tupelo and Grenada are going to put on great shows. Sauk Prairie has a tight show, tight visually, tight vocally. They do these showsicles, so I don't know when the last time any judge from the South has seen that. So that's kind of the big wild card, and I hate to kind of throw, it's up to the judges into it, but it really is when you have something that doesn't look like anything else that's been put in front of you. It's kind of on the adults to see how that shakes out. I do think that Sauk Prairie will make finals. I think that Northwest Rankin, so we have Grenada, Tupelo, Sauk, Northwest Rankin, and probably Northeast Jones are going to be your top five. I don't see JA or Oak Grove cracking in.
Okay.
Nor do I see any of the rest of the girls' groups breaking in. So, okay, I take that back. This judging panel is entirely made up of Midwesterners. We have Ann Chapman, based out of Iowa.
Yeah, you're right.
Rachel McElwain, who directs Chippewa Falls in Wisconsin. Josiah
What are
Telshow.
we doing here? Josiah. Oh, I know that name. I know that one.
You do know that name. And then Brennan and Lee Wilder from Indiana. Josiah Telshow from Minnesota. For those of you who do not know the name, former St. Francis director, former Bloomington Kennedy assistant director, now what seems like full-time judge. So Sauk Prairie, congratulations on your 1,000-mile drive. I hope it pays off. I know myself and everybody from Wisconsin will be rooting for you. However, let's launch into our comps of the week preview. I mean, we got like 13 minutes to do all this. The Burbank Blast, this one out in California. In Advanced Mix 1, we have 4 choirs, and those are John Burroughs Powerhouse, Los Alamitos Sound Effects, Horizon Step on Stage, and John F. Kennedy Executive Order. And in Advanced Mix 2, we have Cypress High Voltage, Glendora Royal Stewards, Heart Collective Hearts, Bonita Vista The Music Machine, and La Cueva Underground. We see a Burroughs versus Los Al matchup. Which way do you think that's going to swing?
Kind of what I was talking about with the South earlier, at least between Burroughs and Los Al and Burbank, it's like night and day. I couldn't comfortably tell you who's going to do better than which on a given day. What did I put? I put just for fun, I put Los Al above Burroughs, but it could. Who knows? I could be wrong about that. And then I looks like I did also give Burroughs vocals and Los Al choreo, which will probably, musicianship and then showmanship, which will probably maybe be right, regardless of placement. But again, these top 3 groups in California, it's night and day between like who places higher than the other.
Yeah, I don't even want to take a stab at what that is going to wind up being. I'm very interested in this Horizon versus John F. Kennedy battle. JFK with a new director, Christopher Brush. Horizon really gearing up. I think a lot of people in Arizona and in the West are kind of looking at Horizon being like, you could be the 4th best choir in the West this year if you perform up to the talent and the potential that we think you have. So I'll be very interested to see how Horizon does. Tier 2 is going to be a drag out as well. Cypress and Glendora go against each other for the 3rd consecutive weekend.
Wow.
Which for a California season that seems like it's just starting is wild. You throw Hart in there, who didn't have a placement that I don't think they necessarily wanted their last time out. And also your yearly La Cueva appearance. I have no idea if they're going to be going to Valley Vista in Arizona the weekend after this or not. But it is nice to see La Cueva out there once. I think I have no idea how La Cueva is going to do. So I think honestly, at this point, like Cypress and Glendora are my top two, but La Cueva, they could be the 1, they could be like the 4 or the 5. Like I legitimately just don't know. Hart versus Bonita Vista will be interesting as well. Our first place, actual first place Traveler Award does go to this one. Prattville Spotlight from Alabama will travel 2,000 miles and 31 hours one way to compete in intermediate mix alongside Golden Valley, Granada Hills, Los Alamitos, Oceanside, and John Burroughs, which means they will spend 4,000 miles and 62 hours, which is cumulatively over 2.5 days on the bus. I really hope that I really hope that's part of like a spring break trip or something. And it's like, we're going to go see Los Angeles and we're going to go compete because Prattville Spotlight, one of the more random groups that we've seen go to California. And I mean that in the best of ways. This is like when Richland Resonance or was it Richland or Puckett? I think it was like Puckett Perception that came up to Illinois like in 2020. And just one of those where you're like, good for you. I hope you're here for a reason, and I hope you have a lot of fun while you're here. So Prattville, best of luck. Everyone else, best of luck. Lots of groups going to Burbank, too many to cover all of the divisions. We'll go to the Fairfield Crystal Classic. This one, a monster 2-venue one-day competition. The large mixed division here. Loveland, Plainfield, Zionsville, Brandon, and 2 groups from Millard West. The large women's division, most of those same groups, Loveland, Plainfield, Millard West, Zionsville, Brandon. You throw Edgewood in there as well. Quinn, we see several choirs in this one that are really dangerous, but not quite the best in their region. Millard West, second a lot of the year. Brandon, a few seconds for them this year. Zionsville, second for them. Plainfield, a couple of thirds or fourths for them. Loveland, a win this year, but a couple losses to some Ohio choirs. Where do we see things shaken out here? If you have any thoughts.
I mean, like, I think out of all of these, objectively speaking, Zionsville Royal Airs is probably the best group, objectively speaking. And then afterwards, it kind of gets a little funky. Like, I think Millard West, just a little bit. I think Millard West could get as high as second and then as low as fourth here. So it really depends on how each group does on this day. I have no clue how Loveland's going to do because it looks like they've been having a much better season this year than they have last year. Same thing with Brandon Brio. They did get beat by Gretna Revolution at Chesterton, so maybe transitive property will do its thing, and some of that will play into effect here. Maybe. Again, transitive property is so funny. It's a really funny thing to me. I wouldn't trust it, but here I'm going to trust
funny.
it.
I don't know if it's real, but it's funny. That's for sure.
Chris is really funny with transitive property. But
several people have their own spins on the transitive property. The southern transitive property is wild above all else with how unstable it is. But
yeah. I mean, what I have Zionsville in first with vocals and choreo. Then I'll have Millard West in second, just for fun. Let's see what happens. Brandon in third, Loveland in fourth, Plainview in fifth, and then I think Fairfield only takes 5 finalists. So
they do.
Yeah, so Swing Cats will probably end up missing out on finals then. And then for women's division, is it just 3 that they take?
2.
They take 2. Okay. Give me Zionsville Corollaries with the first. And second place could honestly go to either Brandon, Loveland, or Millard West. So, don't know.
Yeah. I've seen... how many of these shows have I seen this year? I think just Brandon and Millard West, which is a weird combo of shows that I've seen for groups that are going to this competition. But
you're right. Yeah, you're right. Wow.
I think head-to-head, oh gosh. I think I would definitely take Millard West Uptown over Brandon Bella's. Okay. I think mixed it gets more interesting. I think I would still take Millard West by a couple hairs, but certainly it's been, well, I guess I didn't see Millard West that long ago, but certainly, I mean, by just a couple hairs, it means the small improvements could go a long ways. Brandon, 700-mile drive, 10.5 hours, the second longest drive to get here. The longest drive is actually Millard West, 730 miles and a cool 11 hours. Kind of wild to think that Nebraska is farther away than Mississippi for this competition. But that just goes to show you that the Midwest is a lot larger than people think it is. Because remember, Nebraska is a state that has some area in the Mountain Time Zone, and Ohio is a state in the Eastern Time Zone. So, you're kind of traversing most of the Central Time Zone there. Yeah, just so much going on. I feel like if things were any less hectic this week, it would be like, oh, like this is one of the comps of the year. And it absolutely is. And we're spending like 5 minutes on it, which is a total injustice. But it just kind of is what it is. We're going to run through the chat real quickly. Thoughts on Bloomington Jefferson's comp schedule next year? No, we're still in the midst of 2026. I mean, we can't even start talking about.
They'll probably be at Kennedy again. They'll probably be at Hastings again. Past that, I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, and then one more. Which small mixed groups do you think should and could compete in large mixed? Yeah, I say that sometimes, but I kind of put my foot in my mouth a lot of times because. Look, you're never in the room with the director. You don't know like how many kids auditioned, like what the talent pool is like. Do you have a lot of underclassmen this year? Do you have the funding to buy more costumes and pay more individual entry fees into competitions? This and that, whatever. So while it's certainly, I think we can all think of a couple choirs that maybe it looks like, oh, like they have the numbers, maybe they can move up soon. I think it's a complicated process for every director. And I'm certainly not against groups opting up if they feel like they have the skill, even with the lower group size. I love to see that, like Roncalli does that from time to time. I think Tarpon Springs did that once last year. Tarpon Springs, a group going to Fairfield. Oh gosh, let me run the numbers on that. Because I definitely should have looked at that, but I definitely skipped over them because they were a small mixed choir. We're going to do some on the fly research here quick. All right. Tarpon Springs.
Where's this at? What state is this?
Florida.
Oh yeah, that might be a lot.
Tarpon Springs, 14 hours, 20 minutes, and 949 miles.
Wow.
So Sauk Prairie, so Prattville is still our overall number one. Sauk Prairie is still our overall number two. But we might have to make the Traveler Award like its own show next year because the amount of traveling that people are doing this year is nuts, and I'm absolutely here for it. But yeah, I mean that's complicated, and I don't want to put myself in any director's shoes. I don't think Quinn would like to either. No. All right, that settles that. We got 3 more comps to cover. We'll try and run through this as quickly as we can. Sioux City East, sing all about it. The mixed groups at this one. Gretna East Equinox, Elkhorn North Adrenaline, Grand Island Ultimate Image, Sioux Falls Roosevelt Executive Suite, Sioux Center Satisfaction, Aberdeen Central Eagle Express, Bishop Heelan Harmonia Mundi, Mitchell Friendecu. I trust that Quinn, as the local here, has plenty of thoughts.
This is where I will be this weekend. So if you're going to be at Sioux City East, come say hi. But there's 8 realistic finalist contenders here, and only 6 of them are going to make finals. So that's the big question: is who do we think is going to unfortunately have to miss out? The first thought for me is Grand Island Ultimate Image, which no hate towards any of these groups. That's not what we're doing here. But looking at their season so far, missing finals at Lincoln East and getting 6th place at Omaha South, this is going to be a tough competition for them to make finals. And the other one I have, which might be a little bit of a shock, is Aberdeen Central Eagle Express missing finals for the first time since 2018. And they have been underperforming is not the word I would choose, but this has been not as exciting of a season for them as the last few years have been, especially with at O'Gorman's competition. They got upset by Elkhorn South Shockwave. And as I was watching finals, I could believe that. I could totally believe that happened. So this looks like a much harder competition than O'Gorman was. So there is a chance that Aberdeen Central misses finals here. In terms of who's winning this, Gretna East is my favorite. I love Gretna East. They might probably end up winning this. Another thing to consider is that since Mitchell got beat by Elkhorn South at O'Gorman, this does now open the door. Not saying this is going to happen. This does open the door for Elkhorn North to also upset Mitchell. Will that happen? Find out on Saturday. But it does open that door. So my predictions for this one You also read about this one in my preview article coming later this week. I've Gretna East in first with vocals and choreo. Just for now, I'm going to put Mitchell in second and then Elkhorn North in third. Sioux Center is doing really well this season, so I'm going to put them in fourth. Put Sioux Falls or Roosevelt in fifth, and then Bishop Heelan in sixth place. But again, between Sioux Falls, Roosevelt, Bishop Heelan, Grand Island Senior, and Aberdeen, any two of those four could realistically make finals.
Y'all, this is an absolute hornet's nest, and I like to think that I know a good bit of ball about Nebraska show choir, but then you throw in a wild cards like Mitchell and Heelan and Sioux Center, and y'all know I'm Sioux Center's number one fan in the state of Illinois. I'm Briarwood's number one fan north of Alabama, and I'm Sioux Center's number one fan in the state of Illinois. I should really be buying more merch from a lot of choirs. Just kidding. That's a joke. I already have too many clothes. But I don't know. This is one of those competitions where, like, if you have this lineup in 2025, I think the results look totally different than they do in 2026. But that's the beauty of living in the moment. And I know I'm talking really fast, and I'm not even going to stop myself from talking really fast. Like, you just have so many phenomenal groups here. Like Gretna East, obviously great winning group this year. Elkhorn North, great winning group this year. Sioux Center, great winning group this year. Mitchell has not won this year, does not diminish the quality of their show. Bishop Heelan, Aberdeen, Sioux Falls, Roosevelt, Grand Island. Grand Island, I think, is the only show of these that I've seen in person. And it's a super fun show. This is going to be one of those things where we're going to get back at it next week, Tuesday, and I'm going to be like, here's what happened, and I trust, because any one of like 15 different scenarios could happen. Elkhorn North could win this competition, and I'd be like, sure thing, Chief. Mitchell could win this competition.
Doable. Yeah.
Mitchell could win this competition. I'd be like, great. Like they got to win for this season. Sioux Center could win this competition. And I'll be like, you know what? That's absolutely wonderful for them. I'd like to interview their director or something like that. And I'm really looking forward to seeing how this one shakes out.
Don't worry. I'll be there for daytime and finals. So I'll be sure to keep everyone updated on what we think is going to happen.
All right, we are running a bit over our hour. However, we do have a really tight race in our comp of the week vote in right now. So we're going to cover two more competitions really, really quick. The first one of these is the Cosby Titan Tournament of Choirs. This one happening in the Richmond, Virginia area in the large mixed division. Hurricane Heatwave from West Virginia, Pedal Sound Stations from Mississippi, and Matoaka High Impact from Virginia. In middle mixed, all groups from Virginia, Mills E. Godwin Debut, Thomasdale Night Scene, and Powhatan Resonance. And in small mixed, a really big 6-choir field, Glen Allen Vocal Eclipse, South Granville Shades of Blue from North Carolina, Pocosin Evolution, Hanover Sound Effects, Amherst County Amarachos, and James River Current Edition. Your headliner here is Hurricane versus Pedal Pedal. We talked about in the Auburn section missing finals. Hurricane coming off of 2 straight wins at Capital and Grove City. I've seen both of these shows live this year, which again is like insane to say. And I've seen Cosby live. I've been really blessed this season to travel a lot. And I certainly don't take that for granted. I think it'll be close. I saw Hurricane in January. It's now March. I have it on good authority that they've shored up a bunch of stuff in their show. Pedal, I think there was a lot of room for improvement in their show with relatively short amount of rehearsal time. So I honestly think this one could go either way. I think if I had to say a caption split, at least I'd say Pedal takes vocals and Hurricane takes choreo. However, how that shakes out on the sheet, I don't know. Matoaka, they've also won a GC so far this season. So like a lot of people I think might be tempted to just say, oh, like we're just going to put Matoaka in third. You can't be doing that. You can't just say, oh, Matoaka isn't Pedal or Hurricane. They're going to be third. No, not the way this works. Definitely still legit power. Small mixed features the top 3 from Thomas Dale 2 weeks ago. And those were James River, Hanover, and Amherst. So we'll see if anything changes. Plus Glen Allen, South Granville, and Pequosin are debuting for the season. So an absolute mess of a small mixed division. You love to see it. Our final comp of the week, the South Lake Carroll Showdown. This one happening in Texas. The mixed group here are Burleson Breakaway, Burleson Centennial Shades of Blue, Arlington Corlears, Legacy Silver Elite, Fort Worth Southwest Effect, Fossil Ridge Pantheon, Killer Central Voices of Central, LD Bell, The Bell System, Keller Blue Lights, and Broken Arrow Tiger Rhythm. This, ladies and gentlemen, is what happens when you get someone who's not one of the top 5 choirs in the state to host a competition and get everyone to come to it. I'd say like probably like 7 of Texas's top 8 groups are here. We're just missing Timber Creek. We miss you, ADX. I think you would provide a lot of spice to this competition. Plus, you have Broken Arrow in there. Broken Arrow is probably going to sweep this competition. However, we see the third Keller Central versus Keller matchup of the year. It has swung once in both directions so far this season, so we'll have to see who gets the best of the season series. This is the final competition for Texas this season. Rip Rouse Capital City Classic. We miss you. Also, please, more people in Texas start comps. Eagle Mountain, either the Burlesons, anybody, please. Texas needs more than 4 comps. Also, LD Bell and Fossil Ridge. I don't know if either of those two can make up any ground on any of the Kellers. I think that'll be a really good, potentially 4-5 matchup between Broken Arrow and the Kellers. And then also 6, Legacy and Arlington were really tight last weekend in the 5 and the 6. Fort Worth Southwest has missed finals a couple times this season. I'm sure they're wanting their get back as well. Just so much going on here. Texas, have yourself a ball at the end of your season. Have a great time. And I wish there was more Texas show choir. So Quinn, any closing thoughts about Cosby, South Lake Carroll? You'll be at Sioux City East. Anything about show choir this week?
I mean, I'm really excited. I'll be at as I said, I'll be at Sioux City East. If you see me, say hi. I'll be nice. But yeah, I'm really excited. It's a really fun week. And then next weekend, I do my 11-hour drive to Brownsburg, Indiana. So that we're almost done. This is the third to last week for me. Sioux City East, Brownsburg, and then Nationals. So I'm really excited. It's going to be a good 3 weeks.
I will be at Glenwood, the event. I've got Glenwood, Wheaton, Warrenville South, and Nationals. So 3 weeks left on my competition season as well. Thank you, everyone, so much for joining us tonight. For Quinn, I'm William. This has been Show Choir Nation. We will be back next week, Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central on YouTube. If you are performing this weekend, break a leg. If you are spectating, have a blast. If you are traveling, please drive or fly safely. And with that, have a great Show Choir weekend.